What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a video about something a little bit different and pretty far off topic from what I normally talk about, and that is this rifle. I have had some criteria in my head for a long time of a rifle that fits my needs. The Model 70 that I had was a full length 22, so not quite full length. I think it was still just a 22, but it might have been 24, I can't remember. Inch barrel, sporter barrel, so longer, regular thickness barrel, which is nothing wrong with that. It didn't really pose any issues. But I wanted something shorter. I wanted something that could accept the muzzle device. I wanted something with a synthetic stock or something other than wood. A rifle that I'm not scared to hit it with a rattle can and, you know, tone down some of this black and stuff and camo it up and tape stuff onto it, you know, tape caps onto the scope and whatever, and make this a rifle tailored to me. And what I ultimately ended up on after a lot of time and research and really figuring out what it was that I wanted in a rifle, I landed on the Savage 110 Apex Predator Edition. This is a 308 bolt action rifle, and that comes from the factory bore-sighted with a Vortex Crossfire 2. They advertise that it comes with a 4 to 12 by 40 Crossfire. Buds sent me 3.940, which is not a deal breaker. If I'm being totally candid with you guys, my intended use for this rifle is sub 600 yards, and I can do that no problem at 9 power. That's really stretching the capabilities, but I can do it fairly easily. That's not a problem. So the 9 power is not a total deal breaker. I'm not very upset about it. No harm, no foul there on Bud's part. And if anything, I like to be able to dial all the way down to that 3 power for a closer shot. So whenever you're hunting in the timber, which is pretty common for this part of the country. But I didn't have a ton of money to spend. I sold my other rifle to a family member and kind of had a budget that I was gonna have to stay within, and I shopped and shopped and shopped and shopped, and I just couldn't find a rifle that fit all the criteria. But ultimately, I settled on the Savage 110 because this is one of the oldest actions in the United States, still in production. It's a great action, and what you get in this rifle, to be totally candid with you guys, I paid $660 for this rifle from Bud's Guns in Kentucky, out the door, and they shipped it to my local FFL where I picked it up. And after getting my hands on it, shooting it, I absolutely could not be happier with this rifle. The reputation that Savage has of producing an accurate rifle right out of the box. If you start talking some of the lower end models that they have, like the Savage, you may get a random one out of the bunch that's pretty accurate, but by and large, the Savage 110 series and the 110 Action is a very accurate rifle right out of the box. It has the floating bolt head and system where it doesn't seat completely tight, full engaged into the chamber. It leaves a kind of a bit of a spacing, a head spacing in there, which allows for inconsistencies in various rounds to be able to shoot more consistently overall. And that's something that they do that I think is awesome. It's a great feature and definitely improves your accuracy. You get a jeweled bolt and a bolt knob with knurling. And then the Predator model specifically, you get the camo stock, which is okay by me. You get an EGW 0 degree bridge mount, which I'm big on bridge mounts. I've got a lot of reasons for that, but that's a $50 mount included in the rifle, which is one less thing you have to buy. That was another kind of criteria. I kind of wanted to get a rifle that already had a bridge mount on the action, torqued down to specs, installed by the factory, and this model obviously met that criteria. And if I could help it, I really wanted heavy barrel. This is a heavy bull barrel, 20 inches, threaded for accepting a muzzle device, and I will end up ultimately getting an Ultradyne Apollo muzzle device on this. That's in the works. That'll be coming fairly soon. It's fluted to reduce weight and help harmonics. I don't know that it really matters or does anything, but I wanted heavy barrel just to help out with that overall accuracy on longer range days and keeping that barrel from heating up. Let's see what else. The very generous butt pad. This is a very low recoil rifle, really, for a 308 to shoot. I really love the butt pad that they put on these. It's very forgiving. It has their, I think, AccuFit system where you can remove this black section from this stock and move the butt pad forward for someone that has a shorter length of pull. So it's a little bit adjustable to maybe if you want to put a younger person behind this rifle, and that would work great for them. What else? Magazine. It's a box inserted magazine, and it is metal, which was something else that was a criteria for me. I didn't want a plastic chintzy magazine if I could help it for this rifle. I really just wanted something that was metal, and this fit the bill, and it goes right in and out, no issues. Let's see, anything else? Accu-Trigger was another reason that I settled on Savage. I am a fan of their Accu-Trigger. I've shot them some in the past, not a lot, but after putting some rounds through this, I haven't adjusted it yet. It comes somewhere from what I feel like is around that 3-pound mark, and it's definitely not unmanageable. I will eventually bring that down to 2 1/4 in the future, but right now it's shooting perfectly fine, which I'll get to in a second. Rings, I replaced the rings that it came with. Wasn't a huge fan of those as like their Vortex Sport or Hunter rings. Wasn't a real big fan of those, so I replaced those immediately, and already had some low cut Z rings by Burris in the mail, metal rings, really solid rings. And level bubble, I always throw those on my scopes, especially when I'm running a bipod, because like I said, I will shoot out to 600 yards anyway. As a rule, got regular Butler Creek caps on here. Got a quick dope sticker in the inside of the back lens cap. And UTG bipod, nothing crazy. We'll eventually probably drop a Harris on the end of this that's shorter, like the 6 to 9 inch. This is the 9 to 13, I believe. It's a fine bipod. It's worked great. I've had it for probably 10 or 12 years, and it's never failed me yet. It's been a good bipod. I can't remember the brand of these slings to save my life. You guys recognize them. They're an OG in the community. Love these slings. Very durable. And I've had this one for probably about 6 or 8 years, and it's held up just fine. But that's kind of what I got going on in the rifle. Like I said, I've got, with the rings, I guess, $680 wrapped up in this rifle, because I already kind of had everything else from prior builds and setups. But let's get into the performance real quick. I'm trying to keep this video short and sweet. I started this rifle out. I don't do real super precision shooting. Match grade ammunition isn't a make or break deal for me. If I can get it, I'll use it, whatever, but it's not something that I have to have and shoot with all the time. I'm a firm believer in good enough accuracy. So if you're shooting sub MOA or better, so an inch per every 100 yards. You're really kind of cutting hairs after that for the average guy, and I want a round that I can just shoot it at the range, shoot it in the woods, and I don't want to be passing back and forth between ammunition because I only run this one rifle for this purpose. So I started my testing with this rifle out with Norma Whitetail 150 grain. I like to still stay on the edge of that velocity and adequate amount of weight, and so that's why I still just stick with 150 grains out of a 308. I did the same thing with 30-06. A lot of people using ballistic tips. And I'm not exaggerating, I have dropped in its tracks. I've dropped every deer, even to 320 yards, that I've shot using soft lead tip bullets, and they're plenty accurate most of the time. Not all can be that way, but I was super impressed with these. Norma has great rapport, or great company. They make a great ammunition, and these shoot plenty flat. I'll go ahead and just show you after shooting a little bit prior, shooting it when I got it, and shoot some other groups. This was the group that I shot. This was the second group that I shot. The first group that I shot was exactly 1 inch. This is a 0.75 MOA group with normal whitetail store-bought soft point ammunition, shooting 3/4 MOA at 100 yards. And if I was gonna make a beef about that or cut hairs about that, I would be making stuff up, because that is more than adequate accuracy, and especially for a hunter. I'm not a competition shooter, and if I can get 1 MOA or less out of this rifle with box ammunition on an average day, that's all that I can really ask for. So overall, my review, and that's the other reason I wanted to make this video, is there's only a couple videos out there about this rifle that I could find, and so I figured I'd throw one in the hat for anyone else that might be interested. My overall impression review of this rifle, it's awesome. I am more than pleased. I'm not going to say that this thing may not see a little bit of spray paint in its future at some point in time to kind of knock down on some of the black, but if you guys are on a budget and you're wanting to do just a one-stop shop, setup, scope, mount, good rifle, guys, I really think you're going to be really hard pressed to beat this value, and the accuracy that you can get out of it, and getting the Savage name right along with it. I really think this is tough to beat. And the stock on this, I might add, this is not a regular flimsy chintzy stock. This is a pretty rigid stock for a synthetic, rifle in a combo configuration for the average Joe. This is a great buy, guys, great value. So if you are in the market for getting a new hunting rifle, or a general purpose rifle, which is what this is for me, thus I just went with 308, and it's a caliber that I'm familiar with, I would definitely encourage you to check out the Savage 110 series Apex. This is the Predator. They also make their regular Apex, which is a 22-inch barrel, all black, and a sport barrel, not heavy barrel. So anyway, guys, thanks for checking out this video. I know this was something a little bit different, but I'm glad that you tuned in. Don't worry, this probably isn't something that I'm going to make a norm out of. I'm still pretty well strictly a archery, or traditional archery and outdoor skills channel. But if I find a good product like this, guys, I want to do a good review and tell people about it. I'll probably do another review down the road once I get some more groups through this thing, and test some more ammo through it, and really put this thing through its paces and see what it can do, and probably come back with some more word on it later. But I just wanted to get the word out there that this is an awesome buy, and if you guys are in the market, season's coming, this is a great option, and I promise you're not going to be disappointed. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I'm archery channel, but I still love firearms. I still love the Second Amendment and the freedoms that we have in order to enjoy things like this. If YouTube doesn't circulate this video because it's not the normal content for my channel, whatever, I don't really care. I'm just trying to put out helpful information for you guys. Anyway, guys, get out there, enjoy the outdoors, grab your rifles, go hit the range, do some shooting, just get outside and do something. We're starting to get into some nice weather finally, so be sure to tune back in for future videos. Everybody stay safe and shoot straight.